8 companies forcing employees to return to the office. 1. Twitter, aka X. Twitter has always had remote employees, even prior to COVID-19. In 2020, they made a big announcement. Employees could work from home forever. But then Elon Musk entered the picture. He bought Twitter for $44 billion. In late 2022, he axed half of the 7,500 employees. He ordered the remaining staff to return to the office for 40 hours a week. In March 2023, Musk sent his workers a 2 a.m. email. He reminded them that working from the office is not optional. 2. Amazon. Amazon planned a complete return to the office in the fall of 2021. However, this plan did not materialize. They left remote work decisions up to team directors. In February 2023, Amazon did a 180 on that. Andy Jassy wrote that staff should go back to being in the office together. The majority of the time, the employees have to spend at least 3 days a week in the office. 3. Google. Google was one of the first to tell employees to stay home. They allowed staff to work from home indefinitely. Then they tried to hype people up about returning. In 2022, Google announced a biophilic complex in Manhattan. It didn't quite work, so Google took a more strict approach. First, they told staff they had to live near the office. Then they warned that remote workers might face pay cuts. 4. Disney. In July 2021, Disney cautiously reopened its U.S. offices. At first, it was 3 days a week. But in January 2023, Bob Iger dropped a bombshell memo. Disney now mandates a 4-day return to the office. 5. Netflix. The CEO of Netflix, Reed Hastings, isn't a fan of remote work. In fact, he said he doesn't see any positives to it. As COVID restrictions varied, Netflix responded accordingly. Office workers didn't need to prove their vaccination status, but the cast and crew working at studios did. Netflix is now going back to a full-time office work model. 6. Goldman Sachs. In 2021, the Goldman Sachs CEO declared,
I certainly would expect a lot of Goldman Sachs employees back in full by the end of the year.
In March 2022, Goldman Sachs put its office-first strategy into action. They failed to bring workers back to the New York HQ. Just 5 days later, David Solomon dropped the hammer. He demanded that all workers return to the office 5 days a week. Fast forward to 2023, and Goldman Sachs is still struggling. Many employees are simply not showing up. 7. Meta. Meta had 50,000 plus people working remotely for 2 years. Mark Zuckerberg himself said,
over the next 5 to 10 years, about 50% of our people could be working remotely.
It's 2023, and he's singing a different tune. Zuckerberg is asking staff to prioritize in-person collaboration. Meta no longer offers remote work when it lists new jobs. 8. Starbucks. Starbucks used to have 4,000 plus office employees working from home. But starting January 31, 2023, they were summoned to the office. They were required to show up at least 3 days a week. Dozens of employees signed a petition in response.
An unforeseen and poorly planned return to office mandate is making our lives more difficult.